Very good morning to everyone. My name is Jacob and I represent Fusionex, a company that focuses on artificial intelligence, data and analytics. So my name is Jacob and the easy way to remember my name is the Biscuit Jacob, yeah. So today I'm very excited to share with you and discuss a bit about a very beloved topic, which is called the Metaverse. So this is a very interesting topic and very fresh one as well. At the end of this discussion, I hope that I will be able to convince you that the Metaverse is imminent, it is inevitable, and we should participate in it. That is my mission today. I hope I'm successful in doing that. If I can do that, then hopefully I can give you a fresh perspective of things. If not, then maybe next time. So first of all, we have to understand what is the Metaverse. And if you do not understand what is the Metaverse, do not feel disheartened, do not be disappointed, because in my many discussions with many entrepreneurs, even in the tech space, they are not sure what is the Metaverse. They know bits and parcels of it, like they know there's something to do with NFT, something to do with cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, VR, AR, but that's about it. They can't piece the entire puzzle together. They can't piece the entire puzzle together. So what is the Metaverse? Well, from a terminology perspective, meta means beyond future, and verse means universe. So that's quite easy to understand. But exactly what does it mean to be in the Metaverse, and how do we participate in this? To do that, we have to first understand the crux of the technology behind it. Now this is not a technical session, but hopefully I can share some light with you in terms of the technology behind it in simple layman's terms. It is powered by Web 3.0. Now what is Web 3.0? If we look at historically, we have Web 1.0 from the 1990s, during the times when I graduated, when I studied in University of Science Malaysia. Yes, that's right, I'm born and bred in Malaysia, of course, and studied in Malaysia, in USM. So back then, what we had to learn was basic web pages. Everybody had to do a bit of HTML programming, a bit of JavaScript programming. If you are in the tech space, if you are in engineering, or potentially even if you are in business as well, you would have done a bit of this technology, which is exciting at the point of time. Today, we are familiar with Web 2.0, and that's what we use today in businesses, in our daily lives. And that covers already a whole slew of technologies covering social media, mobile applications, and all sorts of different web applications that we use today, which is interesting enough, e-commerce as well, of course. So Web 3.0 is imminent, and that is something that we will have to take part whether we like it or not, because it is the next wave of technology. So you can choose whether to take part in the Metaverse, but for Web 3.0, I don't think it's an option. You won't be able to choose because it is the next evolution. It's just like saying that you don't want to use Blu-ray, you want to stick with DVD. That's not going to happen, you know. So this is something that is imminent. And what is that exactly? It is focused on semantic web. And what is semantic web? Semantic web, it means it is websites, web applications that are developed, that are machine-friendly, that can be understood by machines and artificial intelligence. That means that AI can understand that. So that's what semantic web is. And then decentralized applications, so applications that are developed across the universe by different people, individuals, organizations, countries, organizations, different types of apps. NFTs, a lot of people ask me, what is NFT? Well, they've heard about it, they know it's non-fungible tokens, but they don't really know what it means. Well, NFTs, the easy way to understand this is that NFTs are actually belongings. So today, the world wouldn't mean anything if you don't have your belongings. Like for example, I have my suit, and that's mine. It follows me across to the United States, to South Africa, Hong Kong, everywhere else. It's mine, right? So no one's going to take it away from me unless they want to steal. But there's only one piece that Jacob wears. So that's in the physical world. So in the digital world, if you're going to wear a pair of shoes, for it to be yours, you have to use NFT technologies. So even if you don't understand NFT, it's fine. Everything that you own in the digital world, whether it's your car, your house, your shirt, your jacket, or your Nike sneakers, that's all powered by NFT. So it's one and only for you. It's got a serial number that is very unique. So that's NFTs. AR and VR, most of you have already probably tried a bit of that. You go over your phone across and you see some additional information, or you put on your VR lenses. If you haven't tried it, you can try it in Sky Park, Genting. So it's quite an amazing experience as well. About 2 months ago, I brought my kids up to Genting, and I let them try all the rides, whether it's the physical rides, whether it's the virtual rides. And I asked them at the end of all rides, and they have no vertigo, so they're not afraid of everything, and they just take all the rides, you know, whether it's the scary ones or the boring ones, they've taken all of those. And at the end of the day, I asked them, which was your favorite, the physical ones or the virtual ones? And the answer was the virtual ones. So interesting enough, for them, they even felt the virtual ones is more exciting and more colorful than the physical ones. So you should try that out as well. And then of course, below there, it's a bit truncated, but actually it shows the metaverse. So the metaverse is one of the technology that is embedded together with Web 3.0. So once you understand the progression of web technology, then you will see that it is inevitable that we will have to move into the metaverse, because there is nowhere else to go. Where do you go from websites? Where do you go from mobile apps? What is the next frontier? It is the metaverse. So, to give you a bit more color and a bit more depth of the metaverse in business and functional terms in our daily lives, the metaverse is actually your existence digitally. So if you exist in the internet, you are part of the internet, and you have cars and socks and shoes and homes and friends and partners and desks and rooms inside the internet, then you are part of the metaverse. You create your own avatar, you have your own belongings, you spend money to buy things. And how do you spend money? You don't use fiat currency. Fiat currency is paper currency. You use e-wallets. You use cryptocurrencies. So if you don't have any of those, it's a good time to start now, because digital wallets will be the way of the future in replacement for fiat currencies, at least in the digital world. In the physical world, yes, you will still need your cash, and that's what people say cash is king. But in the digital world, there's no way you can buy anything. If you want to buy houses, cars, or you want to buy a drink or coffee, you have to use e-wallets. So these are the many things that would mean and would be meaningful to you if you are part of the metaverse, and you will also be getting paid. You can earn money for your digital presence. So you can hold talks like this and collect money. You can hold shows, you can do TikToks, short videos, and earn money out of this. So that is you as part of the metaverse in the next 5-10 years, who knows? But it's going to be very, very fast. So what about case studies? Let's bring some real examples. Anyone around here knows this guy? Travis Scott? Raise of hands. Wow, got a fan. Very nice. Okay, so we have people who love Travis Scott, who understands that he's a rapper, he's a singer, and he's a songwriter. So very popular in the US, yeah? So he's held many concerts in the United States. This is Travis Scott in one of his physical concerts. Very explosive, dynamite, filled with passion and power. And this is Travis Scott holding his concert in the digital world. So you have a digital twin. You have two entities. One is yourself, physically as you see today, and you have a digital twin that exists in the internet, and Travis Scott has done that as well. So look at the kind of concert that he has digitally in Fortnite, one of the online games, one of the metaverse today that is quite prominent. Look at that. That's the real way to have a concert, isn't it? That's exciting, very colorful, very energetic. You can be a giant, you can be anyone, you can hold flames in your hands. So the sky is the limit in terms of your imagination. Have a look at some statistics. Yes. A single night on Scott's Astro World, which is a very popular one, it reached ticket sales of about 1.7 million. So that's very, very impressive by any standards. And he had a capacity of about 50,000 people. So that's equivalent to Michael Jackson. To give you some flavor of this, Michael Jackson's Dangerous, if you remember that tour he had across 69 concerts, he had about 3.5 million participants in that concert. So that averages to about 50,000 capacity for one concert. That's one concert. In the digital world, he grows about 20 million US dollars in terms of ticket sales. The comparison is astronomical, as you can see. There is, what Malaysians say, no fight, right? It's 12.3 million in terms of the people who attended this concert. So if you're not convinced, this is a good case study for you to see the market there is today for the metaverse, where people are more excited to join this because it's fresh, because it's full of Gen Z. There are a lot of young people inside, and in terms of concert features, functionalities, it's a lot more colorful because you can do anything you want. And it's also safe. I think to the fact that when we look at Travis Scott and his concert, this concert that I talked about, Astro World, there was an unfortunate event where about 300 people got hurt and 10 of them died because of stampede. So if you follow his news, you will know that. So that's a very sad thing. But in the metaverse, that's not going to happen. It's very safe. You can sit back at home or in the car or in your washroom, anywhere at all, to watch and participate in the concert. Well, some people might say, but it's different, right? You go there, you feel the energy, you feel the heat, you can feel the fire. Well, that's just senses. It's just our human five senses. And technology advances very soon and very fast. And in due time, you would be able to ignite all five senses. The future of AR and VR is to ignite five senses of the humans. And that will be done, and it's already being done today, with haptic suits where you can feel raindrops falling on you, with visors which you can see 3D visuals, and of course spatial hearing as well. You can hear sounds that are coming from the left, and you can detect how far it is from the right, etc. So it's just a matter of time when it becomes even more immersive. If that is not convincing enough for you, have a look at Microsoft, tech giant. They acquired Activision Blizzard. If you have touched gaming at all, during your high school days or even today, then you will know games like Diablo, StarCraft, Candy Crush, etc. And they acquired these games and technology for about 70 billion US dollars. That's huge investments. Facebook reported that they invested about 10 billion US dollars just last year, just in 1 year, 10 billion. And they're looking to invest another 100 billion in the next 10 years. So it's serious business. Nike, as we know, the world's largest and leading sports apparel wear and also sneakers, they invested in a company called RTFKT to create NFT sneakers. Looks really cool, isn't it? So imagine that you can wear this on your avatar, any color that you want, and it's designed only for you with a serial number that is trademarked and specific only to you for your size as well. That's Nike for you. So these are some examples where it is really colorful. So you can choose your own avatar. You know, I did a bit of a survey with some of my friends, and I asked them, the ones who have tried the metaverse a bit, the ones who have tried the Oculus, and I asked them, how is the feeling? And they said, fantastic, it's really immersive, apart from the fact that there's this heavy and gigantic Oculus that is on your head. Apart from that, the experience is really good. And I asked them, do you think it's possible at some point of time you would prefer to be in the metaverse as compared to the physical world? What do you think is the response? The response is yes for most of them. And I asked them why. They said because I drive better cars, I look better, I'm not so short like Jacob. So that's why it's more interesting and more fun to be in the metaverse. Louis Vuitton, market leader as well for luxury brands, and at one point of time, he was the world's richest person as well. He's created his own metaverse game, NFT based as well. And companies like Rolex, Gucci, Burberry, they're all jumping on the bandwagon to create NFTs like this. Roblox. Are you familiar with this game? For those of you who have kids, minimally will understand this. Your kids can't take their eyes away from this game. They have hundreds of friends online in Roblox. They move to nightclubs, they go to coffee shops, they go to restaurants, they go to fashion apparel stores. They have their own lifestyle. They have like 20 cars. My son said that, look Dad, I have 30 cars. McLaren, Lamborghini, Ferrari, all better than yours. So Roblox is very popular. Interestingly enough, a Gucci bag was sold for about 350,000 Robux, which is the kind of currency that they use in Roblox. And that's roughly about 4,000 US dollars. That's even more expensive than the real thing itself. More expensive than the real Gucci bag that you buy. So you can see how society is moving towards. So why the metaverse? Why do we want to use and participate in the metaverse? I'd like to challenge you to ask this question to yourself. Why not the metaverse? And you can change any of this to say, why not create a new dimension for human interaction? Yes, physical is very nice. We still like our data rate, we still like our roti kosong and stuff like that, our nasi lemak. But why not create a bit more color in our life? Why not create that extra dimension? Yes, we still want to build our smart cities, smart nation physically, we have to do that. We should not give up on that. But why not create an extra layer, an extra dimension? When you put on your visor, you see this hall in a different colorful manner where there are different lights and different avatars around. That would be interesting, right? So why not create more capabilities? Why not have access to new technology? And either way, as a nation, I think we should plan ahead to be ready, because we don't want to be followers, we want to be leaders, right? So why not be leaders in the metaverse whilst the technology is still new? The metaverse is very interesting, and today you can see the today it's mixed reality with your digital twin. Tomorrow and the day after in the future, it's just going to be better and better. The saying goes as it just gets better and better. So you have 3D capabilities, it will be more immersive. You will not be able to tell the difference between reality and what's virtual. And I like this video. For some of you who might not have seen it, I took the liberty to share this with you. And it's interesting to see how people make fun of revolutionizing technologies, new technologies, disruptive technologies, because they don't understand. So this is a video from the 90s when the internet was first created, and David Letterman, who was interviewing Bill Gates back then, looks a lot younger, before he was, right? So this is an interview, and he talks about the internet. So I'd like to invite our moderator to please just play the video with subtitles here.
But I think about this, and what about this internet thing? You know anything about that?
Sure.
Well, what the hell is that exactly?
Well, it's become a place where people are publishing information.
Right.
So everybody can have their own homepage, companies are there, the latest information. It's wild what's going on. You can send electronic mail to people. It is the big new thing.
Yeah, but it's easy to criticize something you don't fully understand, which is my position here.
Go ahead.
But I can remember a couple of months ago, there was like a big breakthrough announcement that on the internet or on some computer deal, they were going to broadcast a baseball game. You could listen to a baseball game on your computer. And I just thought to myself, does radio ring a bell? You know what I mean?
There's a difference.
There's a difference.
It's not a huge difference.
What is the difference?
You can listen to the baseball game whenever you want.
Right.
To.
Oh, I see. So it's stored in one of your memory deals.
Exactly.
And then you can
That's the
come back
RAM
later.
that you're talking about earlier.
Do tape recorders ring a bell? I just don't know. What can you, just knowing me the little you know me now, what am I missing here? What do I need?
Well, if you want to learn about the latest cigars or auto racing statistics.
Well, I've got that covered. I subscribe to 2 British magazines that are devoted entirely to motorsports, and I call the Quaker State Speed Line about 2 times a half hour. So now will the computer give me more than I'm getting that way?
Well, you can find other people who have the same unusual interests you do. And
You mean the trouble bloater chat room on the internet?
absolutely.
I think one day I'll get one of these deals, but I've played with them, and then you type it in, and then they get that thing, that little arrow. Is that the arrow?
You bet.
And then it's just, it's like, oh, I get it. It's an eye test. What are we?
So that's a video from the 90s. So we mock at technology, we make fun of it. Of course, it's for entertainment purposes as well. David Letterman is very entertaining, but you see, it's easy to mock it when we don't understand. But today, the internet is everywhere, as we know. And the same goes for Metaverse as well and Web 3.0. This is the first game that was created in 1950s, the online tic-tac-toe. So that's the first game. And look at how fast technology has evolved. That's in 1950s, and fast forward now, about 60, 70 years later, in the game of Gran Turismo, it's so hard to tell the difference between what's real and what's not real. My son was playing this online for a while, and my mom walked into the room and she said, "Wow, which channel are you on?" So it's very hard to differentiate what's real and what's not real. And if you look at technology's growth, the growth is not a linear growth, it is an exponential growth. So do you think that technology today will evolve faster than it used to be? Do you think it's going to take another 70 years for us to be a bit more immersive? Or do you think it's going to look more like 30 years or 40 years or 20 years or even 10 years? If you look at technology today, it doubles every 1-2 years, as we know that. Look at your hard disk, your cars in terms of horsepower. I remember in the old days, about 30 years ago, when the car has about 300 horsepower, 250 horsepower is like king of the road. Today they're talking about 1,000, 1,500 in terms of horsepower. So technology evolves really fast, so fast that it is my belief that at some point of time, it will be so hard to differentiate what is real and what is not real in terms of graphics inside the visor, as the visors get to be slimmer and slimmer as well. If you think that that is crazy, and I get a lot of people who tell me that I don't think so, I'll ever be immersed in the metaverse. I like it physical. I think that's just a crazy idea that we spend so much of time in our visor. Well, think again. If you think about the new generation today, who would have thought 20 years ago, if I asked you, that people would be spending about 8 hours on the devices online? 8 hours of working hours online, either their tablet, their phone, or their laptops, or their desktops. And on average, Gen Z has said that they are very uncomfortable to leave the handphone for more than 30 minutes. So every 30 minutes, at least they have to look at it for a while, if not then for a long time. So these are all crazy stats that we can see. And if you remember this movie, for those of you who are around my age, Automan, back then, there's this car that is powered by electricity, moves really fast with this really handsome driver as well. He's full of electricity. I remember my uncle saying that, oh, don't watch this kind of sci-fi movies, it's just fiction. There's no way that cars can run on electricity. Today, we have that, right? It's running on EVs. Star Trek, a lot of you probably are fans, so you know that a lot of the creations that we have seen today originates from Star Trek. Captain Kirk on the top, he used the first mobile phones, or at least that's what he pretended to use in the movie. The first tablets, voice control on board the Enterprise. So today we have Alexa, we have Google Home, so many others. Dr. McCoy used to inject medicines without a needle, so that's being researched as well today. The phaser rifle, that's made available today based on laser technology. And of course, the University of Leicester has also built a medical base to monitor their patients. So the whole idea is that if you can think and dream and imagine it, it will be created. There is a saying that goes that whatever Hollywood movies create on the screen, it will be realized at some point of time. So what's to say that at some point of time, these kind of visors will replace our phones. And you will not even face on to become like a contact lens where you can place in your eyes, and it will be even more immersive. So this is just hardware, which at some point of time it will evolve. So it is now a good time for computing to evolve. We are moving beyond web and mobile clouds, beyond personal computing, to the metaverse. And what does that promise to bring us? A lot. Have a look at all these different case studies. The virtual real estate, hybrid work, smart cities, smart nations. You can build a whole city, and your only constraint is software. That's your only constraint. Digital healthcare, e-commerce, immersive gaming, remote learning, NFTs, and the list just go on. Everything is moving really fast, but COVID managed to push this a bit faster during the pandemic, where 2.8 billion people were locked down in the world. Think about Zoom. They had about a growth of about 20 times in terms of Zoom users. So moving forward, it is the belief of Metaverse creators that we will not have meetings physically, we can do it online with the Swiss Alps as the backdrop in a very nice and cozy meeting room, and everyone looks very handsome, funny or funky. There are no ugly people around, everything is very nice and exciting. Concerts, we have already talked about that, it will be very explosive, very engaging, whether it's social activities, and very importantly, education as well. Education so far has been pretty boring if you ask most of the kids, because we learn from our textbooks or maybe an e-book today online. But what if you were able to immerse yourself and be there during prehistoric times? Be there during historical lessons to understand the history of Malaysia's sejarah, and be there to experience that in virtual reality, in the metaverse. That would be really, really engaging. And that is the future of education, we believe, as one of the potential use cases. Exhibitions. So moving forward, exhibitions will be very state-of-the-art as well. And racing simulations, social activities, whether it's racing, will be very engaging, very exciting. Smart cities, retail. So imagine that you are visiting Tokyo or Kuala Lumpur and it looks like this. If you put on your visor, if you take it down, then you see the regular Twin Towers, for example. And if you go to Shibuya in Japan, you would be able to see anime using your visor. If you take it down, then you see the large crowd of people again. And of course, the various social activities from parks to maybe perhaps Universal Studios or Genting theme parks, etc. So, in terms of imagination, I think the sky is the limit. We know that for the metaverse. But I still get people who say that, why do I want to do this? It's not real. You know, it's not real. It's not physical. I want it real. And the real world is real, but that's not really real. If you watch The Matrix, then you remember this chat over here, Morpheus. He said, what is real? If real is just a result of sensors, then these are electrical impulses that can be replicated. It can be reproduced in due time using hardware and technology. So at some point of time, it would be so immersive that you would be able to trick your brain to believe that what you see, what you smell, and what you hear all around you is real. Today, we already have a glimpse of that. We have visors, we have fingerprint recognition, you have controllers that are attached to your fingers. You have haptic suits that can feel raindrops. If you shoot, you can feel the pain. There is pressure as well. There is heat protection. So all these are technology that already exists. Bear in mind that the pictures and illustrations that I've shared with you just now are things that already exist today. But it will come to realize in consumerization very, very soon, where mass adoption will happen. But what does it really take for mass adoption? I think it's three things. First is better devices. No one wants those heavy devices, so we will need to have something that is a lot sleeker. Better graphics and UX, this will only improve in terms of 3D capabilities. Malaysia, we've got great talent in terms of 3D capabilities as well. Animation, we know that. And of course, as technology evolves, we will have better communities. People who love cars, people who love fashion, they will gather around this metaverse to discuss this. People who love smart cities, smart nations, they will have smarter cities, smarter nations within the metaverse, and you can use that as a template to propel it to your physical universe as well. Today, we already have smart visors like this. This is created by a Chinese company called EM3. This is the world's slimmest visor. And of course, I think devices like this, haptic suits like this, will probably not look so clumsy in due time. It will probably look a lot more like this from Player One, as you can see. So this is just a matter of time, and this would be very convenient to wear. So what is to stop us from saying that 10 years down the road, 5 years down the road, and that is really something that flies really fast, that games and online engagements, online activities, social activities won't be as real as this. Again, this is taken from a game as well, so it's really, really staggering in terms of graphics. So I'm coming to the end of my slides here, and one might ask, but what does this do for me? From a business context perspective, daily lives, society and nation, what are the use cases that I can use that can help me monetize my life, monetize my platform, and whatever I've created in terms of the metaverse? To understand that, we need to look at Gartner's elements of the metaverse. And if you look at the elements, it covers digital currency, marketplaces, NFTs, there is of course gaming, digital assets that you can own things online, workplace, where you work. It will change the way you shop, the way you join concerts, social media, how you interact, natural language processing. If you look at that chart, very quickly you'll realize that it's replicating the whole world. It's everything. It's shopping, it's retail, it's workplace, it's social engagement, entertainment, gaming, and everything else. So the answer to the use case that you're looking for is your imagination. It is only and but constrained by your imagination. So to repeat, the metaverse is you being part of the internet. And that means that you have an avatar, you have digital tokens, you have a digital wallet, you have assets, you have things that belong to you, you have a life inside, you have friends that you can socialize across Switzerland, Netherlands, Saudi Arabia, anywhere else in the world. Just put on your visor and immerses you into that program. So, this is my last slide, just to end with some baby steps ahead. First of all, select a clear use case or a couple of clear use cases that will bring benefit to your customers, business partners or industry players, or the nation. Pick and choose. Identify some partners to work with, for example with Fusionex and many others. Create an alternative reality for your business, for your nation, for your society. So I'm not saying that you should drop anything that you're doing in the physical world. You should continue to do that, but spawn a stream that also works on the metaverse and the online universe, because you know that that will come in due time. It's just a matter of 5 years or 10 years, and you want to be ahead of the curve and then sit back and enjoy the experience that you have created for many and for yourself. So the question now is that, do you believe in the metaverse? Or more importantly, if you do not believe, if it comes, are you ready? Are you ready? I have a lot of friends who tell me, a lot of European friends who tell me that they do not believe in ghosts. And I asked them, okay, that's fine. Are you sure? They said, yes. I said, but, and like, are you willing to walk in the graveyard alone? And they said, oh, better not. I said, why? I said, just in case the ghost comes, I'm not prepared. So the metaverse is the same. Do you believe in it? And if you don't, are you ready for it? Thank you.